Warning. The following may contain concepts, ideas, and/or reflections unique in nature and not yet approved by government and/or corporate entities. This content is for entertainment purposes only and is not intended to stimulate further reflection or to perpetuate additional discourse beyond the scope already outlined by institutional curriculum.
Ambition. Whether we are conscious of it or not, our society is saturated with the word. Some will be exalted for their ambitious goals, while others will be chastised for their lack of ambition. People seem all too eager to have ambition stapled to their dossier of personal attributes, but I have always felt uncomfortable with this term, and I will attempt to describe what exactly my aversion to ambition really is. Let me first begin by stating that I have never considered myself to be ambitious, because I have missed some of the key ingredients for the word to apply. To be specific, let's look at the official definition of ambition. A strong desire to do or to achieve something, typically requiring determination and hard work. Yes, I definitely never had that, and still don't. That is to say, I do have something resembling goals, but I would hardly call them unmovable. In fact, I never remember ever having one hard goal that I pursued diligently. When I was young, that almost seemed to be the very characteristic of a loser. But now that I'm older and hopefully a little wiser, I'm prepared to fight to recover my lost dignity in the most noble of ways, through the tearing down of the ideals of others. To make my argument as clear as possible, let me first define precisely what I see ambition as representing. Beyond the dictionary definition, I would say that ambition has a direct competitive element, and achieving something over your peers is the very thing that makes one ambitious. Striving for something in the absence of societal recognition or the defeat of others would make the terms aspiration or motivation more applicable. For example, I could aspire or be motivated to do good work. But if I'm ambitious in my job, it implies that my goal is for advancement, and simply being productive is not its own reward. Or perhaps I could be an ambitious athlete, in which case it is implicit that I wish to win some trophy, money, fame, or all of the above. A motivated athlete may never compete professionally, but an ambitious athlete must. However, if I'm against ambition, am I also opposed to competition? Should everyone simply receive a participation award? No. I like competition, but I'm also aware that it may take many forms, and on the ambitious side of things, competition can quickly turn toxic. I love to win and hate to lose, but I also understand that there is a real value in losing. In fact, one could argue that competition is all about losing, and winning is just secondary. If I lose, it doesn't initially feel good, but it also implants within me a goal to do better, to learn from those who handed me my defeat. In short, it lights a fire under my ass, and there is an anticipation for the future. But what does victory give? The opposite. It feels good, but you have reached your goal, so now what? Why work to become better if you're already the best? For those who understand the value in defeat, self-improvement will be their reward. Because we learn and grow from our failures, not our successes. On the flip side, what is the goal of the ambitious? Victory, success, achievement. And these goals will be pursued without introspection. For I have never heard an ambitious man state, "I have made it my life's mission to achieve this goal, but if someone else is more skillful than I and takes this prize from me, then so be it. After all, he is the better man." Instead, I would say that merit, or being deserving, are not notions that are often entertained by the mind of an ambitious man. This is why when the question of money is posed, we rarely hear people declare, "I only desire that I receive a sum of money proportional to my skills and productivity, and not one penny more." I would go as far as to say that most people would be quite content to have much more money than they deserve, and any thought of fairness would evaporate as quick as a water balloon thrown into the sun. This is where the ambitious begin to become a major liability, for this pursuit of something at all costs, regardless of merit, may lead to all sorts of distortions of our moral fabric. An ambitious athlete may take performance-enhancing drugs, And if that doesn't provide enough of an edge, maybe there are other deceits or acts that may be wielded to achieve their rightful victory. For corporate ambition, perhaps white-collar crime, fraud, and insider trading is a good place to start. But things can quickly heat up further from there. I mean, we are talking about the highly competitive, money-making industries, so the number of people willing to defraud the general population to advance their careers is probably off of the charts. No, I think that to truly get that promotion, there must be some willingness to shed some blood. And perhaps it will never come to that, but the willingness must be there. Maybe what we are witnessing is the result of competition without morality. But once the rules are bent or broken, how much more difficult to repair our lost integrity. Especially when the ambitious, rule-breaking scum have risen to the top precisely because of their duplicity. And they are rewriting all of the rules to fit their own ambitious goals. So now, in the modern world, it is no wonder that we are subliminally encouraged to embrace ambition and shun the unambitious. When boiled down, ambition is a great mechanism for control. What are people ambitious for? Money, power, fame, or success? These are all assets possessed by the rich. And by selectively doling out their riches to their most productive servants, they will gain legions of devotees, who will serve their lords with an almost religious-like fervor. Sometimes goals are meant to be abandoned. It is that fine balance between not quitting at the first sign of adversity, but also not letting an unattainable goal become such an obsession that it ultimately destroys you. For the ambitious, quitting is not an option. Self-harm is undesirable, so the only option left is to step on the toes of others on your way to the top. The expression, by any means necessary, or the end justifies the means, come to mind when thinking of the ambitious. But surely not every form of ambition is a bad thing. And yes, sometimes it can be more neutral or even beneficial. However, ambition lives in competition, so who you are competing against and for what are very important. More important than your own intention. For example, an ambitious Mennonite will likely be more benign than an ambitious gangster. Their motivations might be similar, to have more wealth than they had before, but their environment will dictate the terms of how they achieve this. The Mennonite's ambition will likely leave a trail of well-built barns in his wake, and the gangster will leave a trail of bodies. So while ambition could theoretically be a positive thing, it is also easily corruptible. Let's use money as an example. There are around 330 million people in the US, and I would hazard a guess that the acquisition of capital is on the mind of the vast majority. And let's say that for 10% of the population, money is their primary goal in life. So there would be 33 million people actively pursuing money. According to the Economic Policy Institute, to call yourself a member of the top 10% of Americans, you would need to earn $133,000 a year. Now, I would be quite content with this sum, but I could also be content with half of this amount. However, I'm not a very money-driven person, and I would guess that the money-hungry would quickly become dissatisfied with this paltry sum. So let's estimate that from our 33 million wealth-motivated individuals, that only 10% are highly motivated to acquire a maximum amount of wealth. These 3.3 million people would be considered to be a part of, or want to be a part of, the 1%. This means to earn $824,000 or above per year. Although, if $133,000 was not enough, what would make $824,000 any better? We are talking about the 1% of the most ambitious in an already money-centric nation. Being a petty millionaire could not possibly satisfy. So we have 3.3 million Americans who are aggressively ambitious to be at the pinnacle of wealth. In this group, I'm sure that there are some morals being observed, but the question is, can a moral capitalist defeat an immoral one? Maybe, if it was a one-on-one competition, the outcome would be different. But this is a revolving door, and if you are unwilling to break the rules, you'll be quickly replaced with someone who can. I don't give a tuppenny fuck about your moral conundrum, you meat-headed shitsack. Human adaptability is our greatest blessing and our greatest curse. It allows us to endure untold hardship or pain without going mad, but it will also sour any victory, success, or luxury with time. The sad fact is that every achievement loses its luster in time, and the ambitious will either never achieve their lofty goals or reach their goal and in time become discontent with their accomplishment and seek another to pursue. We have often heard the expression, "It is about the journey, not the destination." Maybe it's an overused adage, or perhaps it simply needs to be repeated because we keep forgetting to apply it to our own lives. And maybe there are some who think, "I am ambitious, but I can also enjoy the process." Well, then maybe you're not really ambitious, but simply motivated. While I'm quite content to crap all over ambition until I'm blue in the face, I am a big fan of motivation. In many ways, I see them as being polar opposites. Where ambition requires the recognition of others, motivation is entirely self-supported. Ambition applies to a future goal, whereas motivation is centered in the moment. I could be motivated to go for a walk, clean up the house, take care of some projects, but I couldn't be ambitious to do these things. Everyone can get motivated to exercise, but not everyone can be ambitious in sport. In other words, motivation is for the individual, and ambition is for the collective. Motivation will also be more forgiving of failure, since a motivated person is focused more on the quality of the effort than the end result. Additionally, we all know that nothing turns out exactly as envisioned, so why pursue a goal with laser-like focus? Ambition negates two of our intrinsic qualities: adapting and changing to meet new challenges, and learning from our mistakes. If someone says that an ambitious person can also adapt and change focus along the way, then I would say that that person is not truly ambitious then. For example, if a man was highly ambitious to make money, but then he met a girl, fell in love, started a family, and then reduced his workload to spend more time with his kids. It's a fine story, but it is not a tale of ambition. No, the very characterization of ambition is to pursue that goal, not because it is easy, but because it is hard. And when I think of the best examples of ambitious men, I think of Julius Caesar with senators' knives in his back, or Joseph Stalin with millions of innocent people's blood on his hands, of Pablo Escobar and his inevitable incarceration with only the souls of his enemies to keep him company. In fact, out of all of the disparaging things that may be said about those involved in organized crime, a lack of ambition is not one of them. With ambition's track record of consistently failing to deliver happiness to its participants, why would anyone feel insulted to be called unambitious? Because you are a slave, and your ambitions were never your own to begin with. For there is only one ambition, power, and you either wield it or it wields you. Ambition has no space for peers, and the strongest ambition will control all others. But what is the antidote for ambition? Contentment. If we may carve contentment into our souls, then we no longer need ambition. Ambition is the promise of happiness, but that is a lie. Because contentment is available to us all, at any time. We just have to reach out and grab it.